Welcome to the Weigh In Podcast, your prescription for a healthier life, where wellness is more than just a number on a scale. We'll dive deep into not just weight loss, but the medical, emotional, and lifestyle aspects of well-being.
In each episode, we'll weigh in on hot topics ranging from diet myths and exercise trends to mental health and chronic disease management, providing you with the evidence-based advice to guide your health decisions. Remember, it's not just about the weight on the scale, but about creating a healthier, more balanced you.
Hey, how are you? I am very, very well. How are you?
Doing good. It's nice and sunny. I heard you are having a storm, so...
We definitely are. It is not sunny or pretty outside here in Pennsylvania, but just the season. It's like getting to be winter time now.
Yeah, I hear you. For my news piece this week, Novo Nordisk, they're actually working on a new weight loss drug. It is called CagriSema. So basically it's like combining semaglutide with a dual amylin and calcitonin receptor agonist called cagrilinotide. So that they combine the names to make it CagriSema because it's similar to semaglutide with the second gut hormone receptor, which is similar to tirzepatide actually. So they're kind of trying to get on the same level here. So amylin, it actually regulates blood sugar levels, empties the GI tract, and promotes satiety or fullness, I should say. And then calcitonin, it regulates calcium levels in the blood. They're going through late-stage clinical trials for obesity and type 2 diabetes. And early trials have found that it helps patients lose up to 15.6% of weight loss after 32 weeks. And
wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then when you compare that with Wegovy, they lost 15% of their weight over 68 weeks. So the difference might not seem that bad, but then like when you compare how long it took, like the CagriSema took 32 weeks versus Wegovy took 68 weeks. So that's like nearly half the time to lose that 15%.
That's huge. That's huge because I don't know how many people kind of like feel like they get so discouraged during those early times of semaglutide, but I'm sure that there's some percentage of people that never get to experience the weight loss on semaglutide because they give up because it takes so long to get to your target dose. So I think that the shortened duration is definitely huge.
Yes, and also the side effects too of semaglutide. I wonder if the CagriSema won't be as bad because, I mean, that's why a lot of people switch over to tirzepatide because they don't really feel the stomach upset. They don't feel the nausea. And so that's why they really like the tirzepatide. It didn't state anything in this article about the side effects, but hopefully they have addressed that with this new medication. So they're trying to say that they could launch this medication in the US and Europe as early as late 2025 or early 2026. So that is something to look out for.
Is it an injectable? And have they made any statement on the frequency that one takes it?
I imagine that this is an injectable. I don't know the frequency. I would say it's pretty similar to semaglutide too, because it has like same properties of semaglutide, so probably weekly.
Wow, this world of weight loss is really starting to grow. It's really,
I know there's
really something.
These new things. Like I know, it's been kind of difficult right now with thinking about tirzepatide, especially and semaglutide, because things could change. But they've got new drugs out on the market that's coming up next year, and so exciting to see.
It's like super exciting to see.
Yeah,
the weight loss world was stuck with like the same couple of pills for so long, and now it's just it's broadened so much, and it's literally like saving and changing people's lives. So that's awesome.
Yeah. What about you? What's your news piece for the week?
Well, before we do my news piece, I do have a shameless plug.
Yeah.
Which is that my book is coming out the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Go back, rewind. What book?
I wrote a book that I'm very excited about. It's called Burn Fat, Not Time, A Proven Guide to Sustainable Weight Loss. It is dropping the week of Thanksgiving, which is next week.
Well, this episode airs this week, so yeah, listeners are going to hear about it the same week that it's going to be dropped. So
that worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, then it's probably available at the time that you're hearing this, or it will be in a couple of days. And yeah, I consider it to be kind of like the ultimate guide to sustainable weight loss. In the book, I do share a lot of my personal weight loss journey, but I also give a lot of really, in my opinion, useful, practical advice. I detail some of the diet that I offer my LifeFire clients. I give tips to specific groups of people, including shift workers. If you're a shift worker and you're listening, there is a whole chapter dedicated to you. I really try to take a holistic approach to weight loss. We talk about hormones, we talk about sleep, and we talk about sustainable weight loss, which is sort of anybody that knows me, that's my patient, that's my colleague or friend, knows that my big thing is sustainability. So yeah, I hope that people that read it really, really enjoy it and find it useful. It is not like a crash diet book at all. It's really about creating a lifestyle that works for the long term.
Congrats. That is so amazing. And is this your first book? Have you done books before? Like
No, it's my first book. It's my first baby. I always wanted to. And then I really wanted to write this book in particular because I love having visits with my clients, but I feel like I can't get it all out. There's so much that I want them to know. Yeah. So I feel like this book makes it useful because it really is sort of like a user's guide. And as you know, I do have an online presence, and some of those followers that I have are like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to do the LifeFire program. I want to try the LifeFire method, but I live in like Alaska and I can't. So now if you live in Alaska, you can read my book. And we also talk we do discuss medical weight loss. And there is even a chapter geared towards people that are doing the GLP-1 medications. So I think it's a very useful tool. It's designed for busy people to read. It's not a super long book. And it's a very easy read, in my opinion. And I think that it's a great book that most people will find very motivating as we kind of get towards those New Year resolutions.
Yeah, absolutely. How can we get the book?
It's available on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle and download it as an ebook. You also can order the paperback version.
Wow, that is so exciting. Can't wait to read it.
Thank you, friends. I appreciate it. And yes, I do have a news piece to discuss, which is just that the Mercer survey has indicated that weight loss coverage has risen among some of the biggest U.S. employers. So it looks like it was 41% of employers were offering sort of weight loss coverage back in 2023. And this year, 2024, it's been about 44%. And this rise in coverage for weight loss has included, the Wegovy and the Zepbounds of the world. So I think that that's really saying a lot, again, about the stigma behind weight loss and how the popularity of these drugs has really started to grow enough that, I think people are starting to really see the benefit, including, large companies. So
yeah, because these medications are so expensive. So it's great that there's more coverage now, especially with how preventative it is, considering now that they've opened it up to, people that are at risk for getting cardiovascular disease. So it's not just for people that already have diabetes or obesity. So yeah, that's great. I'm so happy to hear that.
You can get somebody to lose weight. You can decrease the risk of so many other comorbidities. And ultimately, it'll be cheaper for insurance companies in the long run. So hopefully they figure that math out and they'll continue to provide weight loss coverage.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I hope that they, have this available for everybody, because I know everyone's insurance is all different and stuff like that. That's kind of been the problem with patients that even though their doctor says it's okay, their insurance says no. So
yep, exactly. Yeah. Which sucks, because if they can't afford the compounded medication, then they sort of don't get to enjoy the many benefits that these drugs have to offer. So hopefully other companies will follow suit and decide that they also want to provide weight loss coverage. And of course, in the interim, Serena and I are here. If you're in California, the A-List Clinic is definitely the best place to go. And if you are in Pennsylvania or Delaware, definitely either come and see us for an in-person visit or do telemedicine.
the episode that we just did with Andrew and Jenny is so amazing. You guys are in for an amazing treat. So
yes, you're going to be so motivated for January. I literally, when I get off this call, I'm going to go do a workout. So it's definitely a super motivating episode. And I'm saying goodbye now, even though we're about to go into the start of this episode. But you guys will definitely see Serena and I again for season 2. It's been a pleasure.
Yes. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us. And have a great end of the year. I will see you next year.
Yeah. See ya.
Joining us are Andrew and Jenny Hewitt, a dynamic duo who didn't just tackle the challenge of losing weight, they conquered it together. You may recognize Andrew from episode 3. He's a board-certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner and founder of Caliper Wellness in Newport Richey, Florida. Jenny is an RN and co-founder of Caliper Wellness. Get ready to hear how they turned their health journey into a story of success, all while strengthening their bond as a couple. Let's dive in. Welcome back, Andrew, and welcome Jenny to the podcast.
Back. I'm so excited.
Yes,
we're
absolutely.
so excited to have you here. And I genuinely am dying to know, how is the new space working out for you guys? How are you enjoying your clinic? You guys have had so much expansion. Tell us how all that's going.
The new space is awesome. It is like 5 times the space of the old space. Like,
amazing.
Our old office would fit in the lobby of this space.
Wow.
Awesome. So
that's amazing.
I have my own office. The therapy people have like a therapy office. And then in the back, there's a medical NP office and another psych NP office.
I love that for you guys. And I bet you guys are loving having your own offices, Jenny. I'm sure you do. It's nice to like have your own. I used to have a shared office space with my husband, and it was cool because I could bother him when I was like hungry for lunch. But at the same time, it's nice to like have your own space.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you guys still in the same location? Or are you guys same town?
Oh yeah. We were in Port Richey, now we're in Newport Richey. But we're downtown in Newport Richey, right off of Main Street. And this whole area is just, and it's all been revitalized. Like Jenny and I, we used to work at the hospital right here. And we both were on the medics for a local ambulance company. You didn't want to come down Main Street, like even in an ambulance at, 2, 3 o'clock on Saturday, because it was rough. It was dangerous. When the bars would close out for the night and dump everyone out in the street, they'd all end up in the ER.
Wow.
Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays were terrible. Oh,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. So now it's definitely been on the other end of up and coming. It sounds like.
For sure.
That's amazing.
That's great. We're so happy for you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I hope you've been getting lots of rest and relaxation, because as somebody who just did expansion myself, I know how incredibly stressful the whole thing can be.
Nope. There's no rest.
Yeah, I don't know how Katie's running 2 clinics. I
know.
Yeah.
Y'all, I don't know how I am either.
So what has been the most rewarding and challenging part of growing a clinic?
Good, Jenny, you could answer.
The most challenging, I mean, there's I don't want to say there's so many things, but it's like little things that just kind of pop up. You're like, oh, I think I did that right. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, I didn't do that right. I have to go back and fix it and try to figure it out. Like right now we're in the midst of doing our own insurance billing. And just the little things that we're finding out with that. It's like, you think everything's like, oh, I did this, and this, like it tells me to. And then you're like, well, why did it get denied? And you have to investigate. So something like that.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. What are the best parts about being in this new space, would you say?
Jenny has a hidden refrigerator in her office that has alcohol in it.
Happy hour after this.
Facts.
It feels very Mad Men-y. Like, oh, you want to come into my office, have a little meeting, and then you got your own bar.
In Jenny's office, I have a recliner chair, and there's a couch. Like Jenny's office is the biggest office that we have. So she has a couch, she has a recliner chair, and she has a mini fridge hidden in the closet. But like usually Fridays at 2, I now shut down. And from 2 to 3, I'll sit in her office while she finishes up, and I will drink, and then we go to the bar. Because all like the other bars that we love that are like walking distance to here.
That's amazing.
That is beyond amazing.
So strategic. I love that.
And well deserved. So since we're getting ready to the end of the year, so this is our season finale episode, and everybody that's listening to this, we'll be like fresh into the new year when this episode airs. So we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about New Year's resolutions. Do you guys find them helpful or not helpful?
They are, but I stopped doing resolutions. I just have goals. And for me, my year always starts on my birthday, right? And which is, next week, like November 28th. So like, I'm thinking,
nice.
like, what am I going to start working on the 29th, And that's when my goals, working towards those goals start. But I always push them out. So it's like, all right, we're going to start this, but we're not starting it until New Year's Day. Like every January, I do dry January. I don't have any alcohol for the month because this time of year, it's like October, November, December. I feel like I'm on a bender. Like every day there's something for us to go do. And it's like, it's all food and alcohol centered. So it gets to be like, man, I need that break, So having that mindset of something, we have to work on something new for the new year. However you want to work it, from your birthday or from Christmas or from New Year's, whatever's going to help you is a benefit, help you to get on track. I know people get annoyed with new year, new me. No, that's what some people need, because over the course of the year, you forget about stuff because we get so bogged down with what we're doing, which is why we have a holiday season. Why? Because we forget how grateful we're supposed to be for what we have and enjoy the time together. So we have that holiday season to mark that time with families and make memories. Well, it just makes sense that we have a time of year to refocus our energies on ourselves.
Jenny, do you feel like when you were starting a diet program that you wanted a specific date? Did you have like a start date that you wanted to start, or did it not really matter?
There was really no specific start date. It was kind of like, let's do this, and then got kind of sidetracked, and it's like, well, let's get back on to trying to eat right and trying to exercise, and then I'm exercising, but this sucks and I hate it, so I'm not doing it anymore. There was a lot of that. So I'd have to say, key thing for anybody looking to do the whole starting fresh in January, like if you can find a day and stick with it, and then find a partner, whether it's your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend down the street, somebody to help hold you accountable. Because if I didn't have Andrew to hold me accountable, I would never have worked out. Never, ever. I would be like,
Jenny would cry when she would work
sweaty.
out. She would real tears.
You got to find somebody to help you. I think it's more so finding somebody to hold you accountable and hold them accountable over a start date.
I completely agree. And to be frank, I think that's actually one of the biggest benefits of medical weight loss is that accountability piece, right? Like you have to go in for a visit, you have somebody that you have to touch base with. It kind of forces the accountability piece. So I completely agree.
Yeah, definitely surrounding yourself with people that are into the same goals, because, I might mess this quote up, but it's like you're pretty much the combination of the 5 closest friends you have, right? So yeah, you want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with really good people because it can influence you. And it's great that you guys influence yourselves in such a positive manner. So I love that.
Great.
But yeah, I want to know, how did you guys meet and how long have you been together?
Go ahead, Jenny. You can tell the story.
No, you're much better at it than me.
So Jenny and I both worked together at the ER, and that's where we met. We were both paramedics there. We met maybe a year before that at an event for the EMS school that I was going to, and she was working on the ambulance, and she was there. And I remembered her because I was like, oh my God, she's adorable, right?
I don't remember him.
No. Right? So we started working in the ER. And so my first day, I walk in, I'm new. I've never worked in the hospital. I was like, hey, I'm Andrew. I'm starting tonight for training. And this is what she does. I'm not training you. I'm like, all right. She's like, oh, they always do this. They always have me train someone. I was like, I don't know anything. So I was just like, you know what? I'm avoiding her. I would actually look up at the sheets to see, for when we had to pick shifts when we were working. I'd be like, Jen's working. I'm not working.
Oh, wow.
She's not working this day. I will work this day. I would avoid her because she was mean to me. And I'm like, what the hell?
Sounds like a complete Ron and Hermione situation. I love that.
It change? How did you guys turn that around?
We all went out for sushi one night, and Jen and I kissed, and then that was it. We've been together since that day. That was like December 27th, right? What was that? 2015, Jen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yep.
Like
December,
almost 9 years now.
Yep,
Yeah.
December 28th of 2015.
Awesome.
Wow.
I love that
I
story.
love this.
Like literally, she moved into my place like a week later.
That is so wild. Wait, who asked you out to sushi?
They were just out with friends, right?
Yeah, we went out with friends from
Oh,
like, we all went out as a group, and then and Jen lived, and I didn't know this, but where I was living at the time, she lived like 2 blocks away. So I just messaged her, I was like, hey, we're going for sushi. Do you want to come? And she's like, oh, yeah. And I was like, I'll just pick you up because you're like 2 blocks away.
And as an aside, I just want to say this, that you guys are a testament to those that maybe are looking for love a little bit later in life. Not that you guys are old, but for those of you that are listening that are in a transitional period in your lives, whether you're maybe like mid-30s and going through a divorce, or like maybe you're another age and feel like everybody else is getting married but you, or maybe you've had relationships and failed, just know that you can find love later on in life or at different stages of life when you wouldn't expect to. There's no such thing as like being behind.
Yeah,
right.
No, you're never behind. It all happens when, as the point, you just got to meet up at that point in time where it happens. That's all.
Yeah, you're on your own timeline. Same with the weight loss journey. You're on your own journey. You can't compare yourself to others. No. So, how has working together as a couple influenced your relationship? And what are the pros and cons of balancing your personal and professional lives, especially that you guys work together?
The balancing is kind of hard because it's like there's so much going on with the business and patients and just in general and staff. It's like it's hard to go home and separate the business when you're just trying to relax, because it's like you'll think of something that you should have said, when you're back at the office, and if you don't bring it up, you're going to forget it. And it's important, or kind of important. So like just trying to separate it once you leave the physical office it's super hard.
Definitely.
Do you feel like there's one of you that struggles with that separation more, or one of you who you just who can't stop working, or do you feel like it's the same level for both of you?
Jen will always, because she has like a little ADHD, she'll be like, this just popped in my head, let me tell you real quick. And I'm like, okay, let me it's 30 minutes later, we're down a rabbit hole now of work stuff. It's Saturday. I was just trying to not work.
It's definitely a fine line, and I think it's hard. It's hard to establish. I think all of us that are business owners struggle with establishing that boundary between work and home, especially because the business is your baby.
Is that I get to work with my best friend every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. And as long as it's not, affecting you guys too badly, personally, then I think it's a great combination to have. It's like no one that you trust better than, your own partner. So
can you guys tell us what other business ventures you have outside of Caliper Wellness? Because I know you guys have had some other cool stuff happening.
So Jenny started a company called Rhapsody Practice Management Services, where she will, as part of her business, I offer coaching services for nurse practitioners like us who want to start their own practice and they don't know how to go about it. She does state licensures for nurse practitioners in other states. Next year, we will be adding a medical billing branch to what we're doing.
That's amazing.
So many hats.
I took a marketing class one time, and you guys know this because I know Justin has said it before, because you find out what the needs are, and then you start addressing those needs. Like, that's your business, So when I talk to people about marketing, and they're like, "Oh, look, I don't know what kind of niche I should have." Like, well, put it out there what you can do, and when people start calling you, that's your niche. What people start asking you about, I had no intention of being an ADHD specialty. But that's what 90% of our patients are outside of weight loss. It's ADHD, and we treat it with over-the-counters, non-stimulants, and stimulants, and a couple herbal remedies that work well. But I had no idea. So when the phone starts ringing that way, we have to be able to pivot and be like, all right, well, this is the direction we're going to explore and see what happens, because the phone is telling us what to do. From being in the group set that the four of us are in with other nurse practitioners, what do people ask about? They ask about state licensures. They ask about startup coaching. They ask about medical billing. That's what we're part of our expansion is that.
Yep. And I think, as an aside, for people that are listening that maybe are in our field and want to start businesses or have entrepreneurial endeavors, I will say that I think that the service that you offer is so important and so useful and something they should take advantage of. Because unfortunately, I think some people have this mindset of like, oh, Zarina has a business. I want to have a business. I'll just ask Zarina how she did it and I'll start my business. And it doesn't work that way, right? Zarina, A, doesn't have the time. Right. B, even if she did, it would be kind of taking advantage of her for her to use her time. Her time is her money, right? You're asking her for a service that you need to pay for. I think that this is something that a lot of people sometimes can't grasp that concept, that if you want help, you have to seek out those resources. And if you can't find those resources another way, right? Like if there is no NP nearby, or you haven't created sort of the friendships, right, that some of us have with each other, then you have to pay for it. If that's the route that you want to go, if you want to have the help. For those of you that are listening that want that help, Andrew has the service that you are looking for. You are not going to get it by asking random people for tips here and there.
No. So true. So true. So I've been accused of gatekeeping information and gatekeeping forms and documents. I'm like, we have forms like that we use, like consents and everything. We've paid for those to get made for us. You know, they are technically our intellectual property. Why am I just going to hand that over to a stranger? Now, if one of you needed something, I'm right there because Katie, you know, you've messaged me questions like, hey, yeah, this is how I would handle it. You know,
of course,
because that's what friends do. But you know, someone off the street, I'm not just opening my books and being like, hey, here, you know, here's everything, you know?
Yes. And that's the thing. Yes. And also we all at this point, the four of us have all established businesses, right? So we all have put in that work, right? We all know, I've spent, somebody could ask me a question and it could sound like the simplest answer, but it could have been an answer that I spent hours of sleepless nights, like mulling over, trying to figure out how to do this or what would work, right? We all know what that level of effort is.
To learn to get the information, you know, like what we know now about like starting up a business on paper. We paid our bookkeeper and accountant, Rob, to teach us. That's just as bad as people ask us for free medical assistance, free medical care. And it's like,
like we can't do that. Lawyers are awesome because they've created a culture where we know that we have to pay lawyers for their time, right? Yeah. But in our fields, we struggle. We all, I think, struggle with having people understand that. And I know early on in this process, I had trouble even demanding that, right? Until you realize that until you set those boundaries, you can't have it. So I think that's an amazing service to offer. And as for the licensing thing, I know I'll be hitting once we're ready to jump on the telemedicine horse. I know I'll be jumping on that because I have multiple licenses in multiple states that I haven't finished doing because it's so cumbersome, right? And when you think about the reward of like being able to do stuff in that state at the end of the day, especially because to me, your pricing is so incredibly reasonable, it's worth it. So Rita and I were having this conversation the other day that sometimes you just have to like pay people to do things so that they can get done.
Because you're busy running two offices. How are you supposed to sit down at the computer for 2 hours and fill out an application for Maryland, let's just say, or for Connecticut?
Yep.
Like your time has value because you have two places that you're not just running, but growing, you know?
Yeah, yes, you're becoming a one-stop shop. You've got the coaching, you've got the licensing, you've got the medical billing. So honestly,
you guys are amazing.
Yeah, you guys can do it all. But yeah, we'll definitely put in all your info in the bio. So if anyone's interested in reaching out, then yeah, you guys are the go-to people.
I'm going to go ahead and give a trigger warning to anybody listening or watching who does not like to hear weight loss numbers, because we're probably going to be asking them about numbers. You guys are obviously welcome to decline saying the numbers if you want, but can you guys tell us a little bit about where you started weight-wise, what inspired you to lose weight, and where you are now with everything?
So, it's probably been, I want to say 2 years now. I'm so used to saying, a year ago or a year and a half ago. So we're probably close to 2 years when I started. I was 223 when I actually weighed myself to say, hey, I'm starting this. I know I definitely weighed more than that. I was probably at my heaviest, probably 250. And then I kind of started a little bit of weight loss, but then the 223 when I started with the injections.
Was this a lifelong struggle with obesity? Was it having children? Was this, okay.
Yeah, I've never been that, that skinny person. When I was a kid, my nickname was Big Jen. They told me it was because I was the older Jen, but whatever. But even still, like we were on a bowling league and we were all in the car. My mom was driving and one of the boys we were with, I mean, we're kids, we're like, I don't know, 8 years old maybe at the time. And they just started making up a song, and the words were, and Jenny's house is a refrigerator and she calls it home. I'm like, that's nice. Thanks. But yeah, so
kids are such assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, high school, I mean, looking back at my high school pictures, I always thought I was big. I mean, I was a size 12. That doesn't sound huge. It was probably a decent weight, but just having people who are around you who are like size 2, size 0, size 4 in the refrigerator, just eating whatever they want all day, not exercise, and you're the big friend at a size 12, which again, to everybody listening, probably doesn't sound big, but it was in my head. I also have underactive thyroid. I have Hashimoto's. That was diagnosed when I was 12, so I've been dealing with that my whole entire life. Wow. And that makes everything a little bit more difficult, I would say, trying to maintain. And then, not when, I guess that was like back in the 90s, nobody ever talked to you about, gut health or ways to help. It was just like, oh, here's your Synthroid, have a great day. Yeah, and then I had kids, and, just kind of the weight went on, the weight kind of came off. It, was kind of a yo-yo thing for most of my life.
Jenny, did you have any particular aha moment where you're like, okay, I gotta lose weight now? I'm like, I've had it.
With Andrew, basically, like when we were talking about weight loss, and he's out in the garage and he's working out and he's actually trying to lose weight, and I was like, you know what? I was, looked at myself in the mirror one day. I was like, this isn't healthy. This is not what I want to look like. This is not where I want to be in life. If he's out there exercising and trying to, make himself, look better, feel better, be a healthier person so that he can, live longer and do the stuff that he wants to do. Why am I not doing that too, so that I can at least enjoy that life with him? And at the same time, like if he is being that person and he starts like just saying, gets to that point where it's like, oh, whatever, do whatever you want, then I'm losing him. And I never wanted to lose him. So
you guys are literally the cutest, but it's really lovely to hear. Andrew, tell us about what your struggle with obesity has been. Was it for you? Was it lifelong, or did it happen later on in life?
I mean, as a kid, I was wearing my uncle's clothes and my grandfather's clothes. Like I couldn't get new jeans. I had to get someone else's jeans because my mom was like, I'm not going to get jeans. You keep outgrowing everything because you're fat, And at 14, 15 years old, I was wearing a 38, jeans. Now I'm wearing 34 skinny jeans. I do notice I do need to go up a size, but that's because my thighs are so muscular now that they don't fit in the jean anymore. But that's good. That's a good thing. I'm happy about that.
Great problem to have.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. Now when I go clothes shopping, it's like, oh, I can wear a large shirt, but sometimes I need an extra large shirt because my biceps and shoulders don't fit in it. That's what I want, but I never was in the shape that I'm in right now, ever in my life. I'm stronger. My cardio is better. And I wish that I was like this when I was younger, because my life may have been, different. I may have pursued athletics, because the stuff I do now, had I working out wise, had I done this when I was in my 20s, I would have definitely pursued something, because I had other interests as a kid. I won't lie. I'll tell you guys, I wanted to be a pro wrestler, right? Because I love wrestling. I couldn't. I was fat and I had no strength. Now, people ask me like, oh my God, are you a wrestler? I'm like, no, I'm not a wrestler, but
never too late.
No,
someday you'll fight Mike Tyson someday, I'm sure.
But this was us at our wedding.
Oh my gosh.
In this picture,
you guys look like it. You look like different people. This looks like a totally different couple that you're showing me. Like you're showing me your neighbors or something.
And they're like, who is that? Like, is that your brother? I'm like, no, that's me. And like, no, that's not you. I'm like, no, that's me. So in that picture, I'm 330 pounds. I got up to 350 at my heaviest. And I mean, now I'm 220. I got down to 212 like a year ago. And I was like, all right, that's fine. But I wanted really 198 or 195 because I just wanted to get on the scale just once in my adult life and not see a 2. I wanted to see a 1 as the first number. But in all honesty, the way that I'm working out now, and the testosterone and the Somorlin and everything else that I'm on, and I work out 5 and 6 days a week. If I'm 220, 225, and it's a lot of muscle, I'm happy. I'm happy with that for sure.
What have you guys tried prior to medical weight loss? Did you guys get on different diets?
Keto. I mean, we did, what's the one that Penn Jillette did, where for 1 month he eats nothing but potatoes, and then he slowly introduced food back into his system to see what he was allergic to, and it worked well for him, you know. But we tried that, and it was miserable, because it's like, we love potatoes, but can we put butter on them? No. We put sour cream on them? No. Like, well, this is miserable.
Oh, wow.
Miserable.
That you were going to tell me that you eat nothing but potatoes for a month and then you never want carbs again. That's what I thought was like the diet.
That would make sense. That would make sense. But like by day 2, you're like, oh my God, please, someone give me a piece of bacon. Someone give me a piece of bacon, for the love of God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but
so you guys tried all the things.
Yeah, we tried everything. We did. We followed Dr. Ian Smith from Celebrity Fit Club and his book on weight loss, and we tried every single thing, but nothing stuck, and mainly because we didn't stick to it either. You know, because you start thinking of what you're missing out on. Like, so when I started weight loss, my whole weight loss thing, I had a mild heart attack. Okay. And my A1C, I found that was like 13. Okay.
Sheesh.
So now it's 4.7.
Wow.
So I had to look at every single thing that I did. And one of the things I did was I drank craft beer. And I loved craft beer. Now I can't even take the smell of it. But I had to not drink any alcohol for 3 months. And then slowly figured out, well, what can I drink? Well, I could drink whiskey and tequila because they have a lower glycemic index. And I'm not going to drink as much. You know, one of my favorite craft beers was a beer that came out. It only comes out twice a year. And it's from the Funky Buddha Brewery Company called Last Snow. It's like coconut, coffee, chocolate, and I think marshmallow flavored. And they come in
good.
They come in like 20-ounce bottles. Well, I was able to drink 5 of those, and I was still sober. So I knew I was out of control when it came to that stuff. And it was like, I would drink a gallon of wine. Like, we'd be off for 3 nights in a row. I was drinking a gallon of wine each day. You know, because that's what it took to get me. And then at some point, it wasn't even getting me a buzz. We had to start adding, what were we adding, Jenny?
Cambor.
Yeah, we were adding raspberry liqueur, which is nothing but sugar, into it just so that I can get some sort of a buzz. And then we were going through a bottle of that every week, you know, on top of the gallon of wine. So it was total lifestyle change. Now it's like I have 2 old fashions and I'm going to go to bed.
Jenny, did you have any vices per se prior to losing the weight? Like, did you have something that you just like love?
I mean, I love peanut butter cups, Reese's. I mean, I'll still have one of those like now and then. There's not anything that I haven't like totally said, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not having that anymore because of my diet or change of lifestyle.
Was there anything that you felt like was like, I think for some people it's things like for me, it was chocolate, right? Like I love chocolate. I had to eliminate chocolate for a little bit so that I could lose the weight. Did you sort of have any of those like weak areas, or were you kind of like neutral about most foods?
Pretty neutral. I mean, the chocolate thing, like we went without chocolate going through the whole diet. I mean, we would limit what we would get in the house or what we would buy at the store. It seemed fairly simple to me. Like I didn't feel like I was without something or, like missing something. Like I didn't really crave anything. Like some people are big soda addicts.
For some people, they binge on candy or, whatever, chips or something. So that I guess that helps that you weren't really into that as much.
Yeah,
so.
It's like I like stuff, but I'll go through phases. I mean, I love chips, but at the same time, I don't need them. It's a good snack time to time, or popcorn or something salty, but it's kind of odd. And I guess I've always kind of been that way. It's just I just like the taste of food, and if I'm in the mood to eat, I would just indulge in whatever it happened to be at the time.
Yeah, got it. Did you guys have any hesitation with medical weight loss at all, or are you all for it? Like, let's do it.
No, I had tried pretty much everything, from from the time where I, had my kids, and it's like, oh, I'll just try this diet, that fad diet, this exercise plan. I was like, I was ready for anything. I've tried the, the over the counter stuff, down the weight loss aisles, the protein drinks, the diet drinks, Slim Fast. You know what? Somebody said, hey, this injection's going to work, because I saw my coworker, she was on it. I was like, okay, I'm ready. Give me the needle. I'm fine.
What drug were you guys doing that helped you lose weight? And also give us sort of like set the stage for us. So were you guys doing shift work at the time? Like, what was your workplace like, and how did that influence your ability to lose weight?
So we both worked night shift. And then when I had my little cardiac issue, one of the doctors said to me, you're never going to be able to lose weight as long as you keep working night shift. And I was still in school. I was still doing clinicals. The day that I had my last clinical, I turned in my resignation letter, and I did not even finish my notice. It was like 2 shifts later. I was like, I'm done. I got off night shift, and because I knew that was one of the things holding me back from reaching my goals. Of even just being able to start. Because when you work night shift, it's hard to do anything.
Yep.
You're either
really
setting up to work
there.
or recuperating from work, and you could not get into you couldn't have any consistency, especially when your schedule is work one night, off 2 nights, work one night, work off one night, work one. So it's like, how do you get anything done on any level? So that was definitely working like that. Definitely was holding us back. Once Jenny got out of the ER and started working at the college, that's when she started on semaglutide, and she did great on semaglutide. I started on semaglutide maybe 2 months later, and I wasn't losing anything. And I felt like that was because I was diabetic and it wasn't working for me. So then we changed over to trizipatide, because that was when Mounjaro had the $25 coupon card. And so we were on that. And that whole madness that ensued when they were like, oh my God, we're losing billions of dollars.
Right.
So then we switched over to the compound version that we're on now. And we just kept going with it.
And so you're both on tirzepatide now?
Yes.
Are you guys doing a maintenance phase with the tirzepatide? You guys take it like every other week? How's that going?
I try to do every other week. I don't want to say it feels like an addiction, but I'm kind of also at the mindset of like, I don't want to gain the weight back. So that's why I'm kind of at this point where it's like, let me stick at this every other week thing and see how we go. Because it seems to work. Like, I'm not gaining weight. My clothes are not getting tighter. I did originally gain probably about 10 pounds back, but that was intentionally because I felt that I was too thin at the time. I didn't like the way I looked. So originally I did gain the 10 pounds back that everybody does, but mine was purposefully because I wanted it.
That's amazing. Jenny, can you tell us how much weight you've lost in total?
It was over 100 pounds, and then I gained the 10 back, so probably 90 pounds now.
Amazing. So great. So combined, that's like
over 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's great. Oh my goodness.
Because when I started, like I said, I was 223. I got down. My lowest was, I want to say 114, which was so not healthy. And now I fluctuate between 128 and 132.
Amazing.
Wow. And over what time period did you guys lose the weight, would you say?
A year and a half, I guess.
Yeah. About a year and a half.
That is so amazing. I'm like in awe of you. That's amazing. Seriously.
Jenny went from crying during workouts to she will go to the gym 6 days a week.
That's the thing. Like, I hated it. And I think as you start to lose the weight, you start to actually, you're able to enjoy the exercise more because you're able to see what exercising is, the benefits of it. Like before the weight loss injections, just diet and exercise, I wasn't losing any weight. I wasn't seeing any benefit of the exercising. So it was just easy to give up and be like, I hate this. Doing the weight loss medication definitely is a game changer because it gives you that weight loss and then you can continue on going to the gym, working out. You're not as heavy, so you're not as out of breath. And then you start seeing the muscle. It's like, I do have some muscle there. Maybe I'll pick up the heavier weight and see if I can make that look nicer.
Can I tell you guys something real quick that happened with Jen?
Yes.
So she was already losing weight, right? And we went to a birthday party for an old coworker, and someone that we didn't know. We don't know who this person was. She walked in. She was drunk, and it was early. It was like maybe 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she was absolutely hammered. She walks in and she sees everyone. She looks over and she sees Jen, and she goes, "Who's this skinny bitch?" I'm like, "Jen, he's talking about you." Jen's like, "I'm a skinny bitch." I was like, "Apparently." And she's like, "I've never been a skinny bitch before."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about it. She's like, "I'm the skinny bitch."
Like, that's a compliment, girl. It's
Amazing compliment.
I love that.
I love that for you. Jenny, do you have a workout of choice that you like? Is there a routine? Is it better when you're working out with Andrew? Like, what makes it fun for you?
I'm all about the machines. So I would prefer to go to the gym and get my routine. Like Monday, Wednesdays are my arm days. So I know I go to the gym in the morning. This is the machine row I go down. These are the ones I do. Then I go over to this section. I'll grab some dumbbells, and that's my thing. The weekends, Andrew and I'll go. Well, we'll go a couple days during the week too together, and we'll do abs, and he'll do his thing, and then I'll go off and do some leg stuff or a treadmill. But yeah, I'm more of a machine type person. Gym, not much of a fan of doing it at home.
And I want the garage. I love working out with the garage. I love doing my crazy stuff that I do. I love my sandbag and my weighted hammers. I am all about it.
You do a lot of shit. I'm always like, where is he getting this? How does he even have this stuff in his house right now? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and have another hammer coming because I have my goal this year now for my 51st year. I want to do. You guys don't know this, but the Iron Sheik was a wrestler in the 70s and 80s. And he used to have these clubs, and they're called the Persian clubs. Persian clubs are used to work out every single where in the world except America, right? Oh. And it's cylindrical, and so they're heavier at the top, and it's a lot of wrist strength and core strength. So I found these weighted workout hammers. I have 2 45-pound ones, and now after today, I'll have 2 25-pound ones. And the goal is to use these hammers the same way that the Iron Sheik used his clubs. You know, and then the sandbag is just the sandbag. There's no ego with that sandbag. Like that is all grit. Like there's no like, oh my God, look how easy it is. It's not. That is like when I take it from the chest press and I lay it back on myself and I bear hug it and I roll over and try to get up with it and then do a squat. Like there's no finesse. There's no technique.
I can only imagine.
It's humbling to try to move.
Wow.
The big one's 150 pounds. And the small one can go up to 70, but I have it at 50. But that 150 pounds, like it's no joke. Like it is serious. Like I have to be concentrating on that 100%. And I can't do that stuff at the gym. I can only do that at home. So I do that at home 3 days a week. And then I go to the gym 3 days a week and I do abs. I do some weight machines. And then I get on the stair mill. Because I know that when I'm 80 years old, I know the difference between being in a wheelchair and only needing a cane is leg strength. And now I get told that my legs are like action figure legs, like they look like G.I. Joe action figure legs. And it's like, that's what I'm going for. You know, I don't want to be in a wheelchair when I'm older. I want to be spry and being able to walk around. If I have to walk with a cane, that's fine, but that's the extent. I don't want a walker. Nothing. So that's all leg strength, and that only comes from working legs now.
I feel like a lot of guys, they're always emphasizing the arms, and I hardly see them really do legs. So I think it's just as important to also work on your legs too. So I think that.
Yeah.
If you can't strengthen your core, like you can't work your core unless you unless you work your legs too. So it's like my ab workouts because I'm old and my back hurts all the time. I do my ab workout sitting up in a chair. But I've noticed from doing that, and I literally will just do sit-ups sitting in a chair, the stress and pressure that I feel in my upper thighs from that movement, it's like, oh, now I know where some of those leg muscles are getting built from. Getting built from doing 200 of those sit-ups, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's so good. And I love that you brought up wanting to be healthy as you get older, because I think it makes I'm seeing it now. My mom, when I was growing up, I always saw her go to the gym. I was never a gym person, but I can remember as a kid just that, like, okay, after we're done eating dinner and doing homework, mommy goes and she goes to the gym. My mom was always wearing workout. In fact, I used to be embarrassed. My mom was always wearing leggings, and that's how I felt, because I'd be like, why is she always wearing leggings and a t-shirt? Like, I wish she wear something different to pick me up. And I can tell you now, my mom is, I want to say 73 years old, maybe 74. She's born in 1950, so I'm not good at math, but she looks amazing. She still can walk faster than me, even after having her hips replaced. Wow. She can keep up with her grandkids. I am like so impressed with her. Mm-hmm. And I know that it all goes back to those healthy habits that she had when I was a kid and when I was growing. She was always going to the gym.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the real reason why one does it, is you want to extend your life. You want to be able to enjoy grandkids. You want to be able to do all those things. So I think that that's amazing. What is your contingency plan when you can't get to the gym for whatever reason? How do you maneuver that, and what do you do?
So right now, because when I started this, I did work out in the garage with Andrew. That was my accountability there. And I still have 8-pound weight dumbbells, 5-pound dumbbells, I think a 15-pound kettlebell.
Too.
Oh,
that hula hoop thing.
Oh yeah, I got the that gimmick, the hula hoop that you can change sizes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's for fun. I don't know if it actually does anything, but that's a lot of fun to do, just for movement.
That's cool.
So I have the yoga mat out there, and if I have to do a workout from home, that's my go-to. I think, what is it? Pilates revolves around light weights but more repetition. So I kind of have that mindset because right now, typically the size dumbbells I use at the gym are 12, and the ones at home are 8. But it's more of a mindset of, okay, I'll do a little bit of like Pilates type moving or a kickboxing type stuff with the dumbbells, and try to incorporate more of a cardio workout as opposed to lifting weight workout.
Yeah. Jenny, I think that you touched on something that I think is the difference between people like you guys who lose, 100 pounds a person, and people who lose 5 or 10 pounds in January or February and then kind of go back to their old habits. And I think what that is you seem to have lost that all or nothing mentality that a lot of us have, right? Like, my car's not starting. I can't go to the gym. I guess I can't work out at all, right? That's the mentality that can kill somebody's ability to be successful on a diet. And I think that having a contingency plan so that you can always pivot, right? Being like, you know what, when I can't get to the gym, I do X, Y, and Z is the difference, like I said, between people that are successful with losing weight and the people that aren't, is that you don't give up, right? You are flexible enough to know I'm going to pivot and do something different. And I think that that's awesome. And for people listening that are trying to start a weight loss journey, it is key to have the ability to pivot.
Definitely. I mean, so a lot of the weight loss patients that we have, I talk to, and we have a decent amount who are in the 50 plus age range, or if they're really obese, we have 1 or 2 that are well over the 300 mark. And I just remember this from my grandmom. There's videos out there like Sit and Be Fit. You can sit in a chair and start exercising. Like there's no excuse on why you can't find a reason to exercise, whether it's in the chair in your kitchen or your garage, or even if you do make it to the gym, there's levels out there for everybody.
Finding something you like, you don't always have to be doing HIIT or, something. If you like Zumba, if you like doing that, then yeah, go for it. If it gets you moving, do something that you like. Athletes are doing Pilates reformer, like it doesn't have to be a girly thing, even though I feel like that's kind of what people think, like, oh, just girls do it. Like it benefits you in so many ways. So yeah. You don't have to worry about if it's girly or manly, whatever.
Or manly thing or whatever.
So how did you guys both keep each other motivated during the tough times, especially when life got busy or stressful? Because like you guys make it sound so easy when you guys do your weight loss journey, but I'm sure there's some tough times that you guys face. So how did you guys do it?
I don't know if we had any tough times with the weight loss. It all just, once you make that decision that this is the direction that we're going and we're not going back, like It was easy because I saw my parents. My parents, they're boomers. They have that mindset of I could do whatever I want because I'll just keep taking medicine. My mom's a diabetic. She does not watch what she eats, and she's like, I'll just take more insulin. Who cares? My dad, he had his health issues. He passed, but he had his health issues with blood pressure and weight and diabetes. They were miserable. My parents were not enjoying life. So for me, I don't want that. I want in 20 years from now, I still want to be the way I am now, where we're joking and laughing. Sunday we're cooking and the music's playing and I'm singing. I want us to enjoy stuff. My parents were as miserable as possible because of their health. That definitely was their main reason for being unhappy. I don't want that. I didn't work this hard just so that I could be unhappy for a good part of my life. I want to be as happy as possible. So we didn't have any hard times, though. It was all just, this is the direction we're going in. Yes, it's hard, but it's worth it. And for me, there was no hard time. There's some days you're not motivated, but that's the days that you really got to kick yourself in the ass because that's when you need it. That's the difference. Those are the days that you build strength and you'll have gains. Those days that you don't want to be out there.
What do you recommend that people do in these types of situations where one party is ready to start this journey, the other person seems as though they're not ready to start this journey? What do you recommend for couples that are in those situations?
So we kind of were in the situation because I was already working out a lot and Jenny wasn't. And I was just like, I'm doing this no matter what. So I'm going to be out in that garage for an hour and a half. So why don't you at least come sit with me while I work out? And she didn't at first. And then after a while, she was like, all right, I'll come hang out with you in the garage. And then after a while, I was like, well, you're here. You may as well do something. Like we have a total gym. Like just use it. Just, do some squats or something on the total gym. Like we have it. You're laying on it for an hour. You may as well do something. And you really do have to just be that blunt of what are you doing? Like I'm doing this, not just for me, but for you, because when I was laying in that hospital bed, you were the one sitting there crying. I don't want that. So I'm doing this for you. What are you doing for you and for me? Because I don't want to have to be sitting in that chair crying and you're laying in a hospital bed. You have to have those serious conversations with your partner. And if you can't have those serious conversations, then you need to examine your relationship because we have plenty of uncomfortable conversations because we have to, because that's the only way we'll find out what we need to find out so we can be better and stronger together. It's not always good times. And if you don't have those tough conversations, you'll continue on that path. And why? You can have a better life.
Yeah, that's important. The why that's going to be your motivating factor. And if you're just doing it because someone else is telling you to, you're not going to want to do it, or you need to have a reason. So yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes if you model that behavior, right, like kind of like you, Andrew, you started to do these things that a lot of times the other partner wants to be a part of the whole process, right? Like our office manager, Sarah, she just lost a bunch of weight.
She's looking awesome. She's doing great.
Right? She looks amazing. Yeah, she looks amazing and she's doing so well. And she used to say, oh, I hope my husband decides that he wants to do this too. But but she said, but I'm going to focus on me right now. Like this is my moment. I'm losing weight regardless. And sure enough, her husband now wants to jump on that bandwagon too, which I love for her. And I think that that's it is still being respectful, right? And still loving that other person, but also still making it clear that you're going to make yourself a priority and hoping that they do the same for themselves. So you guys are amazing with that.
Thank you.
Now, Jen, something I forgot to ask you before was I saw before that you were a volunteer firefighter and paramedic. Can you tell us how that influenced your eating habits either before or after losing weight? Because I know that people that do those specific roles sometimes can really struggle.
If you are somebody who works at a fire station and you're on call 24 hours, like there's really no time to put on workout clothes and exercise. You would have to definitely be motivated to, on your off days, hey, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to focus on myself. And even that's really hard because if you have a rough shift the night before, the next day you don't want to do anything. And then a lot of times they have second jobs, so they're focused on that. The food at the firehouse is usually amazing and everybody cooks really good.
So I've heard.
Overabundance of food, overabundance of stuff that's probably not so good for you, cookies and donuts, and that the nice neighbor lady who just wants to be nice to the fire station, like, hey, here's some donuts. Like, there's all that stuff hanging around, and if you don't have willpower, you're just going to sit there and eat it. And then the alcohol. I mean, it's a stressful job. The majority of people in EMS are probably alcoholics. I hate saying that, but I don't know. I don't have the studies to prove it, but just the people that we know. And
I back you up on that. I worked in emergency medicine for 15 years. I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, when we worked night shift, we would get off in the morning at 7 and we'd go to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were 2 or 3 bars that were open just for night shift workers. They'd open up at 6:30. They'd serve breakfast. Yep. You're sitting there having, we spent many mornings having Coronas and French toast, then going home, going to sleep.
Yeah. Yep. Working those shifts are hard. I mean, wherever you are in healthcare, I think, even in the hospital, you're in the break room, there's like all the temptation. You got donuts, you got pizza, candy. It's so easy to get into that. And then with the stress of the job, you're just like, gosh, I want to eat something. And it's just so comforting to you. So you just grab that. It's just quick. It's right there. I know you guys like to go on vacation and enjoy yourselves. And it sounds like you guys are very consistent with your workouts. How do you guys keep working out during vacation, or do you guys give yourself a break? Tell me more about that.
I work out in our damn hotel rooms at Disney.
Yeah. Depending on the hotel, we actually now look at the hotel we're staying at to see what kind of gym they have.
Yes.
We want to see pictures because some of them are not so great. We found that out. And if there's no gym, we've also have black cards for Planet Fitness. So we kind of scope out, well, is there one close by? Is it worth Ubering or
So there's no excuse. You find a way. Yes. Do you guys limit yourselves on the food, or anything goes?
Yeah, big time. Like I used to be able to eat six slices of pizza. Now it's like finishing a second slice of pizza is rough. Now when, like Jenny said before, like when we go out to eat, we will split dinner. Whereas before we would have an appetizer, I would eat mine, I'd finish hers, and then we'd have dessert. Now it's like, oh no, we'll get one thing or we'll get 2 things and bring something home from one of them. And then that's lunch. Like today for lunch, we finished burritos that we had the other day because they were too big to eat all at once now. But as I was eating the burrito for dinner the other night, I was like, how the hell did I used to eat a whole one of these? Like, that's crazy. My portion size was like, no, that's nuts. I should not have been eating that.
And Andrew, we forgot to ask you, what are you on sort of a therapeutic dose of tirzepatide right now? Like the same dose you were on when you were actively losing weight?
Still on 15.
Or are you kind of on a lower maintenance dose?
No,
15, okay.
I still take 15 because I need to keep my A1C down. I don't want to have to take metformin or insulin, so I'll stay on 15. And I'll stay on 15. I will stay on 15 until I'm in an ALF. I don't care. I'm living on my own. I will be getting compound trizepatide 15 milligrams into my body weekly, no matter what.
For hormone replacement therapy was one question I had. So you're very open about the fact that you're on HRT, and I didn't even know that you were doing Semoralin too. So I really want to ask about that. Jenny, are you doing anything from like a woman's hormone replacement therapy standpoint?
Yeah. I have testosterone pellets. I do the pellet.
And how has that influenced your mental health and also sort of your physical fitness, if at all?
I don't know if I feel the same. I can definitely tell when I'm getting close to needing my pellets because I go about every 3 months, but I don't like track it on my calendar. I just start to feel a little sluggish, a little cranky, sex drive's a little lower. And I'm like, and then I get the notice on my phone to remind me of my appointment. I'm like, okay, it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely, I mean, I'm 40, I'm going to be 46?
Yeah, you'll be 46 next month.
Yeah. So I'm definitely feeling some of those
Happy
changes.
Happy birthday in advance. You guys are winter babies.
Yes.
Yeah. With the night sweats a little bit. I feel like that helps with that too.
And so you felt like this has helped with with sort of these premenopause symptoms using pellets?
I think so. I don't know, because I haven't looked into, signs, symptoms, what, testosterone's supposed to do or help with. Just from how I feel, though, I feel like it helps.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Andrew, tell us about you.
So I switched from testosterone injections to pellets as well. And my decision was mainly because I was injecting, there was another 2 needle injections like every week for the testosterone. So I was like a pincushion. So I was like, let me switch over to pellets. I feel exactly the same. Like I feel awesome from it. But
good.
Without a doubt, like I feel awesome from the testosterone. But it was like testosterone twice a week, trizipatide. We did MIC for a little while just to try it. We did lipo shots for a little while just to try it so we could tell patients what to expect. What else? We were doing vitamin B12, weren't we too, Jenny?
Yeah, we did vitamin B12 for a while.
So I felt like I was getting like 3 and 4 injections every day. And I was like, I don't want this. This is miserable. And it's annoying. And it's hard to keep track of. So I went with pellets. And I was like, well, actually, the person who knows more about peptides is Jen. Jen loves peptides. She's like, why don't you try some more? And I was like, yeah, you're right. She's like, you want more muscle? That's going to help. And it's going to help your body recuperate from your workouts. I was like, you're absolutely right. So then we just started it. And I feel like that's probably where my gains have come from in my workouts. But, from once we added the Samorlan, because I was working out a very similar way for a long time. And I didn't have, like even a year ago when I started the Samorlan, I didn't have the muscle mass that I have now. Like I'm looking at a picture of myself, like of Jenny and I out to dinner, and my arm is not the size that it is now. And that was a year, that was 13 months ago. So that was pretty much when I started the Samorlan, I think last December. So definitely it has helped without a doubt.
Oh, and how often do you get your pellets?
Jenny, what am I, every 4 months?
I think every 4.
Yeah, I think you're 3.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
since you guys work out a lot, you probably need to get it done faster than like someone that's more sedentary. So yeah, sounds about right. And then Jenny, how long have you been doing pellets?
Maybe a year. I don't even know if it's been a year.
You went like a month before me. Because we go to the same person. We go to our friend Angie at Caliper Wellness. And I think Jen, you went like a month before me.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been trying to get people to try to do the pellets, and they're like, "What is that?"
Really
they like have no idea what it
awesome,
is.
Though.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story. Like we've been looking forward to like this whole year, honestly. So
we really have, and I think that this is like such a motivating episode. I'm not even on a weight loss journey, but I like literally can't wait to go to the workout after talking to you guys. So thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us. It's really been so inspiring.
We'll come back anytime. We love talking with you guys.
You guys have a wonderful new year, and I know that we're definitely going to ask you to come back for season 2.
You guys,
thank you so much, guys.
Happy holidays to you guys.
Happy holidays.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast, give us a rating, and share with your family and friends who might find it helpful.
And remember, we love hearing from our listeners. Connect with us on our social media channels or shoot us an email with your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future topics. Don't forget to check out our website, www.thewayinandpeace.com, and to follow us on Instagram at thewayinandpeace.
If you need one-on-one help with your weight loss or wellness journey, book a private consultation with us. The A-List Clinic can be reached at www.thealistclinic.com or on Instagram and TikTok at The A-List Clinic.
And my clinic, Lifefire Weight and Wellness, can be reached at www.lifefireweight.com or on Instagram and TikTok at LifefireWeight.
Thanks again for tuning into the Wayne Podcast with your hosts, Katie and Zarina. Until next time, take care and be well.
The information in this podcast is for general information only. It is not intended as medical advice and should not be relied upon as a substitute for medical consultation with a qualified medical provider familiar with your medical needs.